Hello everyone, this is RaySpace back in Realism Overhaul Sandbox in Kerbal Space Program 1.12. I'm here with the H3 rocket from Japan, and in the TIPA future history timeline that I'm working on, it actually begins with Japan's H3 rocket that launches probes to various locations and tests in particular an ion engine system. And then I move on to the Kasei rocket, which is then dubbed H4. And that is a much larger rocket, much more capable, and primarily launches from Tampico. This, of course, still launches from Tanegashima, the Japanese facilities there under JAXA. So what we have up here is an ion engine assembly, and it is nearly 6 tons. And the H3 rocket is supposed to get 6 tons to the moon. So in this configuration, with the 4 boosters and 3 engines on the core. I've been having a little bit of trouble trying to get my own launch script to do that, so I'm going to try Mekjev's ascent guidance this time and see how far it gets. Of course it can get to orbit. The issue is how much delta V it has remaining afterwards, so this will be my first time trying it out with Mekjev's ascent guidance. I'm also going to try out the H3 rocket version with 2 liquid boosters, in other words, duplicates of the first stage core. I'm not too sure the LE3s can throttle down, so I'm not entirely sure exactly how, LE9s can throttle down. So I'm not entirely sure how they do that with the 3 cores. Maybe they just all go off at the same time, possibly. Anyway, maybe I'll just do that, because I don't think these throttle. I'm also in the process of this checking out the configurations for the rocket, because these are my configurations for the rocket. In a previous video I linked my GitHub for all the RO configurations I've done for other mods, so this is included in that. And I just want to make sure that it gets the proper payload to orbit, right? Should do that, or proper payload to the moon in this case. It probably gets the proper payload to orbit. The moon is a special situation. Okay, I need the bearings in the right place. As you can see, the ion probe gets a decent amount of delta V if you give it enough time. Yeah, I don't know about the thrust weight. Oh, it's because it's got hypergolic engines that has that thrust weight ratio. It has 1 kilonewton thrusters as well, so it's all very complicated. Now, the Japanese launcher pack is a very old mod, and the shaders, you saw it was looking pretty good in the VAB, right? I have no idea why it ends up looking like this out here. So, I've tried putting on Textures Unlimited shaders to fix it, and that didn't work. It has those on right now. I have my Tanegashima terrain, though it could do with some work. I've more recently figured out things about making terrain that could improve upon it, so I should do that. But anyway, we are here. We're going to put this in the hands of Mekjev's ascent guidance and see what happens. So we'll just go with the current orbit and say 200 by 220, and the rest we'll have to figure out. So alright, let's see what it can do. I'll have to do the booster staging. This particular ion probe is a scanner probe, of course, and it would be going to all sorts of locations to make sure we can figure out what resources we have in this particular save, right? In real solar system, the resources available on any given planet are randomized in most cases. Some of them are identified by biomes, so certain biomes have certain resources, but others are just random. And so we need to figure out what resources we've got so that we can plan for that. I believe the boosters are supposed to last about 100 seconds. They do have a thrust curve on them. Whoa, that is a pitch. Well, that's... we have to change the booster pitch start, probably. Okay, well, you know what? That's such a dramatic pitch down. We should probably just change that. I'm gonna go 0.8 degrees per second. Let's see. This side tends not to look as good as this side, so I'm gonna go with this side. The reason that the TIPA timeline begins with the H3 rocket is because it is the most capable rocket from any of the countries that are part of the CTPP, the Comprehensive Trans-Pacific Partnership, that is. So that is economic alliance between different countries, or economic arrangement, I should say, between different countries. And that is the basis for the TIPA future history. We're following those countries in particular. Plus, eventually India joins up for the TIPA part, not for the economic part. That's important because India is the only one outside of the major powers that has a spacecraft in development. So I wanted that. Well, they've got the Gaganyaan spacecraft, and I posit the development of that into my own Lynx spacecraft. So, and that becomes the Bambilav spacecraft, which is just Lynx in Hindi. So, okay, a gentler turn here. But yeah, so since Japan had the most advanced launcher, the GSLV Mark III from India being the second most advanced out of the ones from the countries that are part of TIPA initially. Or not initially, eventually. I decided that this would be the first thing to go with. Overheating. Wonderful. Hopefully that's not that's the entire second stage right there. The mod built in the engine into the second stage tank. Not ideal, but it should survive. Okay, and I'll do fairings here. Oh, we seem to be missing a plume on this. I don't know why that is. I have checked up on it. It's supposed to have a plume. Okay. Well, let's see how it handles this. I guess, I mean, there's no sound in space, and, you know, these plumes are generally very clear in space, so maybe it's realistic or something. What can I say? I don't like it, but... Oh, it automatically extends the solar panels. I didn't really need that. But, you know, that's fine too. So the ion engine on here is actually one of the X3 ion thrusters. And we have enough solar panelry for it in theory. Alright, it is making orbit. And it looks like we'll have 2,900 basically left over. So not what I wanted. This is basically 6-ton payload, so it's a little bit short. But that seems like the best I can do for now, so I might have to cut down on my expectations, but the payload can make up the difference, certainly. It's got the hypergolic engines, the MH and Mon 3, it's got 2 tons of that. It can certainly do that quickly and efficiently to the moon. And then for further out, it'll be using the ions anyway. Alright, let's take a look at the heavy version of the H3, the one with 2 liquid boosters. For the H3 heavy version, I want to see its low Earth orbit capacity, and as far as I know, that is supposed to be 28.3 tons. I've got 28.128 tons in there right now, and, well, it's getting 9,017 meters per second, which doesn't seem like enough, but we'll see. Part of the problem is that we can't throttle the engines down as far as I know, so we're stuck with the thrust, and all 3 boosters, all 3 first stage bits running out at the same time, and that's not great. We would like to cross-feed the fuel in or throttle the core down, something. But as far as I know, this is the only option. So we're gonna see how it goes and then work from there. It's not actually a whole lot heavier than the other edition. 750 tons here. But, well, we'll see. I don't think there's anything else I have to do. Gauge autopilot, ignition. And let's see if it's got enough. Off it goes. I still got it at 0.8 degrees per second. I don't know if that's good or bad. Well, it already thinks that it doesn't have enough. Uh-oh. The second stage overheated. Maybe we should go more shallow then. Things have gone horribly wrong. I think probably 28 tons is too much. Let's go for 27. Unless there's some trick that I don't know about. Okay, let's just go to 0.6 on that. And see if that helps. We can't have... Or maybe I need to just add more temperature tolerance to the second stage. I don't know. Don't know why it's having a problem anyway. You certainly don't want the fairings to go right there. Okay. Well, it's a sharp turn this time. We still seem to be short of Delta V. Our immediate problem is whether the second stage is going to blow up, though. It's overheating again. Okay, well, that's a lot of G-force because it's all three cores burning at the same time there. Well, it doesn't know what to do. Okay. Well, once again, I don't have a plume on this one. And we're looking to be about 330 meters per second short, because there's no delta V up here, but it's expecting some somehow. So 27 tons is also too much right now. Alright, yeah, basically 320 meters per second short it looks like. And it's certainly not going to catch itself in time right now. It'll need the extra 320. Maybe less than 320 really when you look at it. Okay, well that's that. That's not good enough. So, less. I don't know what trick they're playing in order to make it get 28.3 tons. If that's what it gets. Maybe they would develop fuel cross-feeding. Maybe we should do that. But for now, I'll check how the fuel cross-feeding would help afterwards. Maybe in a different session. Let's just get a number for this for now. I don't know if it'll make that much of a difference. $9,257. Yeah, but it's got a very weak upper stage, so that's the tough part. Let's say 24 tons. Okay, engage autopilot and go. Booms might need some work too. At least at 0.6 degrees per second it didn't burn up the second stage, but might not be the most efficient trajectory. But in any case, look forward to the use of the H3 and the H3 Heavy in my TIPA sequence. So it'll be the first rocket we use before the introduction of the Kasei rocket. There might even be a sort of prototype Kasei that still uses the LE9 engines from this. That might be fun. That would be quite a cluster of these though, but still possible. That's a high G-force right there. I have to believe that they'll have some way of throttling down. Well, we're on this stage, but we don't have a lot of spare. 15.8 to spare. 15.8 meters per second. But it looks like with this load, with 24 tons, we'll have enough. I will fizz warp because it's a 13-minute burn. Well, it just pitched up a bit more and it's been trying to say target is unreachable. So it's not entirely sure it can get to 200 by 220. Well, it managed 200 by 220 just fine. And with 30 meters per second to spare, it looks like right there. So that is what it can do, about 24 tons. And this heavy version would be for more like station modules. The other version, the normal version, well, the heaviest of the normal versions actually, with the 3 engines on the core and 4 boosters, would be for probes to various planets to check out the resources. And so that will be what we would need to start off in. This is a fresh save. Nothing else is going on in here right now, and we need to send the probes out to start things off. So anyway, look forward to that and the use of the H3 rocket now that I've assessed its capabilities. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.